Okay, so this one's pretty crazy. You may recall last week I just covered a mod from quite some time ago. The mod, of course, being known as the Juger pistols made by Her. Now, this mod was one of, if not the first mod that added dual wielding into Fallout 4, and it's a pretty old one. And again, a very notable point here, it was made by Her. I went on and on about how cool this was and how it was such an important mod for Fallout 4's modding history, as it laid some groundwork for some really incredible stuff that could be done in the future. Literally, a couple days after recording that, Her drops another dual wield pistol mod. That is crazy. The timing for that is insane. I had no connection to that. I didn't even know it was coming out. I just decided, hey, I want to cover this mod. It's a fun dual wielding thing and I think that'd be neat. And here we are with another. So today we're checking out the Santa's Little Helpers by Her. This is going to be a set of dual wield pistols for the Merry Modding Days 2024 event. For those who are unfamiliar, this is going to be an event that has a bunch of modders creating a bunch of cool little mods for Christmas. So we're having another mod drop every single day. And one of those is Santa's Little Helpers, a pretty competent little set of dual wielding pistols with some really, really cool stuff going on there. These pistols are super unique. They are not like anything else in the game. First of all, I have no idea how they work. There's not a single bit of me that could possibly make out how these things actually function. They look very sci-fi, and the way they function is completely beyond me. These little cylinders are constantly spinning, and as you shoot this thing, it shoots out discs. And somehow the end of the barrel also spins, and the discs come out of that. I don't really get how it works, but it's really cool and really sci-fi. And there's a few different versions of this thing, and one of them is very much in the Christmas spirit. The ones that are actually going to be the Santa's Little Helpers, not the Select Auto Pistol. The Santa's Little Helpers shoot out candy canes instead of little discs. So you can totally use this mod in your game without it being a Christmas-themed mod. That's what's really cool about this one. It was made for the Merry Modding event, but it doesn't have to be used that way. You don't have to put the Christmas stuff on whatsoever. You can actually just use it as is a cool disc-firing gun. Now that disc is, of course, going to be its own ammo type, which is going to be craftable over the chemistry workbench. That being said, it won't be craftable off rip. You're going to have to get the crafting recipe, and the way to do that is by finding the original weapon itself. This weapon is going to be one of a kind in its standard variant, and you're going to have to go track it down. Once you do obtain it, though, you will be able to craft it over at the chemistry station along with its ammo type. From there, you can then go to the weapons workbench as well and add a couple of different attachments that will help you change the performance and the looks of this weapon. Now, it goes without saying, since this is a Her mod, this is a feature-complete weapon. Not only come with cool attachments, a cool unique, but also custom animations. It is dual wield after all. This thing has incredible custom animations and a reload that is honestly super sick. I think it's so cool. And these animations come not only for first person, but third person and also power armor. We'll showcase all of those here in a little bit. Now, one last thing that's really interesting about this weapon is it actually has 3 different variants. Now, you may be familiar with Her for knowing them as the Select Weapons guy. The Select Weapons is a series of weapons that Her did over and over and over again with the Select name, and then they since moved on to start using Brel. This weapon is a Select weapon, a Brel weapon, and a unique Christmas weapon all in one. Or at the very least, it has skins for all 3 versions. You can see the classic Select skins, the same sort of materials that you saw on the old Her mods. You can see the Brel skin, which I believe at this point is only on 1 weapon, as far as I know. And then, of course, the Christmas skin, which is going to be a very, very unique one, which will switch this thing from using discs to candy canes. It still uses the disc ammo type for that, by the way, but it has a candy cane model. And that's pretty important because when you shoot these projectiles, they actually stick into things. You can see the discs sticking out of enemies and walls. Same thing with the candy canes, so that's pretty funny if you want to absolutely skewer up some raiders with a bunch of sharpened candy cane. Overall, a definitely very unique weapon. The idea of having a murderous Santa roleplay is something I never considered before, but thanks to this mod, I think we can do that now. Now, there is a good bit of stuff to check out in-game, so let's go ahead and jump into Fallout 4 and do some live commentary, talking about how to get this thing, checking out its animations, and some of the other fun goodies with this mod. So, here we are in-game with the Select Auto Pistols, which is basically the basic version of Santa's Little Helpers. This is going to be a more standard version of the weapon, one that is not Christmasified. Now, this thing has a base damage of around 32, again firing that custom disc ammo type. It has a fire rate of 90 since it is always in full auto, so that's pretty cool. A dual-wield full auto weapon is, I think, something that is a very first for Fallout 4, which is honestly pretty dang incredible. We have a range of 179, an accuracy of 62, a weight of 5.1 pounds, and a value of 41 caps, and some pretty cool looking models. As you can see here, you can get a real good look at the opening here that fires out the discs. How this works, I have no idea. Maybe they actually come from the grip like this? Except the way you reload would not imply that whatsoever. You actually remove the entirety of these cylinders. So that's pretty interesting. Might as well just show that off now. Let's go ahead and check out the animations, because the animations for this thing are honestly pretty dang sick. Now, of course, for a unique weapon like this, these animations have pretty much no use besides this weapon, but man, they are cool to look at. Starting with the equipping animations, where they seem to fall into your hands from nowhere, and you can also see there is an idle animation. These cylinders are rotating right now as we speak. It's kind of cool. Not sure how well that'll show up on YouTube's compression, but these cylinders are rotating. It's a lot more noticeable with the skin, so you can actually really see this thing. Now then, let's go ahead and show off the animations. For starters, we have the hip fire here. And also, here's what ADSing looks like with these weapons. You just kind of nudge them together and hope for the best. No sight options there, so that is pretty interesting. Something else I'll note too is this thing does have a custom unequip, where you just kind of throw them off to the side. Pretty interesting, and they fall back into your hands when you equip. It does have its own custom bash, and of course a custom sprinting animation to go with it as well. And like I said earlier, this thing does have third-person animations, so you can use this thing in third person, no problem. The animations look absolutely fantastic. Definitely really nice to see that for these weapons, because it would be a pretty easy thing to forget about. And they're honestly pretty competent. Even though you don't have any sights to aim with, you can still hit stuff. You have a nice rate of fire, a decent-ish magazine capacity. They're not terrible in combat. And then, like I said earlier, you also have third-person power armor animations, which is always really cool to see, because that's something that gets left out of a lot of mods. Even mods with custom animations, you don't always see it for power armor, so these work in there as well. So anybody can use this thing. If you want to be Santa Claus in a power armor, you can do that. One other thing that's a little hard to show off here is that the barrels also spin in third person while firing. They're static while they're not firing, in third person at least, but as you can see, they do spin while you're firing. A pretty interesting touch to add to this thing. Once we get out of this really lengthy reload, we can get a look at that once more, but yeah, for whatever reason, these things do spin, which just has me questioning the mechanics of this weapon even more. How this thing fires, I have absolutely no idea, but the effect is so cool. Something you'll honestly never see. I found it completely on accident just because I was trying to get some shots of the coins that come out of this thing, but as you can see, once this thing starts firing again, for whatever reason, the barrels spin, which is a really, really cool touch that adds a little bit of character to this gun, even if you'll probably never see that. But there they go again. They spin, and they spin inverse of each other, which is even cooler. What a weird, weird weapon. Now then, let's talk about how you actually get your hands on this thing. You head over to Listening Post Bravo, just to the right of Green Top Nursery, right here on the map. And you're going to need to head inside the bunker. Of course, you're going to have to clear out some enemies as well. We actually need to reload these things. Dang it. And then, wow, they're a little hard to use, I'm not going to lie. They're a little bit hard to use. But there is no sight for this thing. Maybe a better VATS gun. Matter of fact, in VATS, you might get a look at that spinning barrel in third person. That could be pretty cool. Looks like this Protextron has no interest in me either, so you should be able to... Now then, right here on the table, as soon as you come inside, you're going to get a nice look at two red and white weapons. One making a guest appearance, the service rifle, but also we have the dual auto pistol, which, of course, because it's Niher, means we get a custom animation when we pick them up. That's a pretty cool transfer from third person to first person, I'm not going to lie. I'm seeing this live for the first time with you, so we get to share that now. Merry Christmas, or something. And yeah, there you go. Now you have the weapons. We have the cool version that now has a nice Christmas spin. So, if you're into Christmas, you can really see the barrels spinning on this thing now. Get a look at those. Now then, of course, the last thing we need to talk about today is the attachments over the weapons workbench, which I'm sure you are curious about. This thing has a receiver section where you have standard all the way up through advanced. Pretty simple stuff there. We have a zoom level from 1x to 2x, which will help you zoom more. You won't get any sights though, just zoom. And then we have the skin, where we have the Select Series skin, the Brel Series skin, and the Merry Modding Days skin. My personal favorite being the Brel. I think it looks really clean, really nice. But in the Christmas spirit, maybe this is the way to go for the next month or so. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty unique as well. Really, really fancy idea with some fantastic animation work. Something awesome to see for a Christmas mod. We're not just getting a Christmas themed mod, but we're also getting a pretty cool weapon out of it as well. This is an interesting one. It definitely has a lore-friendly style, but the way it functions is still a mystery to me, so maybe it's the perfect sci-fi weapon. Just depends on who you are. Regardless though, if you're a fan of this weapon, you should try it out for yourself. It'll be linked down in the description below if you'd like to, so go support Her, as well as the Marrying Modding Day stuff, and give this thing a download. While you're down there, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, you could consider dropping a like. It really helps out the channel, and it's free. If you'd like to support my work directly, however, you can also use the link down in the description to check me out over on Patreon. It's the best way to support me directly if you enjoy the videos I do here on YouTube or the mods I make myself over on the Nexus. Of course, this is completely optional, not something you should feel pressured to do, just something there for people who wish to do it. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed once more, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!